In this video 3.2, we will be solving inequalities using addition or subtraction. So you should be able to say I can solve inequalities using addition and subtraction properties of equality. Or properties of inequality, sorry about that. The addition property of inequality is saying that we have to let A, B, and C be real numbers. If A is greater than B, then if you add C to both sides, it remains true. And if A is less than B, same thing. If you add C to both sides, it still remains true. So these are just similar to our properties of equality, where whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, it remains the same. So it's the same for inequalities. So if we said something like 5 is greater than 4, well, if I take and I add 3 to both sides, it is still true. We know that negative 2 is less than 0. If I take and add 1 to both sides of that previous inequality, it's still true. If I were to graph something, let's say here is B and here is A, we know that B is less than A. Well, if I take B and I add C to it, and I add the same to the A, then B plus C is still less than A plus C. You can see that there on our number line. The subtraction property of inequality states the same thing here, that if you have A, B, and C be real numbers, and if A is greater than B, if you subtract C from both sides, it still remains true, and the same is true for A is less than B. Subtract C from both sides, and it remains true. So if I had negative 3, we know is less than 5. If I take negative 3 and subtract 2 from both sides, from 5 and from negative 3, it still remains true. If I had 3 is greater than negative 4, if I take 3 and negative 4 and subtract 1 from both sides, it still remains true. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So if I picture that, if I have A here and B here, so A is less than B. If I subtract C from both A and B, so now I have A minus C over here, and then we have B minus C there. A minus C is less than B minus C. So it still remains true if you do the same to both sides. So same as equations, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So in number 1 here, we have x plus 9 is less than 12. So we want to know what values can we replace x with for x plus 9 to be less than 12. So using those properties, we want to get rid of plus 9, so we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. So then we're left with x is less than 3. So our answer here is x can be anything less than 3. We graph our solution. It's an open because it can't equal 3. It's anything less than 3. So we shade less than 3, which would be to the left of 3. So anything shaded would work in that inequality. If we look, 0 is shaded right here. So if we put 0 in for x over in our equation right down here, 0 plus 9 is 9, and 9 is less than 12. Put in another number that's shaded, like negative 10. Negative 10 plus 9 would give you negative 1, and negative 1 is less than 12. So that is how you can check your work. On this one, we have 7 is less than or equal to x plus 3. So we want to get the x alone, use our properties, subtracting 3 from both sides. So x is greater than or equal to 4, or 4 is less than or equal to x. If you want to reverse it, x is greater than or equal to 4, you can do that. So if we have 0 here, 4 to the right of 0. X is greater than or equal, so we close it, and greater than or equal to 4 would be shaded to the right. Check your work by picking something shaded. We can pick 4 because 4 is shaded. Plug it back into that original equation. 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 is greater than or equal to 7. Plug in 10. 10 plus 3 is 13, and 13 is greater than or equal to 7. So we see that it works. On this one here, I wrote it into my next problem. T plus 3 is greater than negative 1. So we're going to subtract 3 using our properties. Negative 1 minus 3 gives us negative 4. So T is greater than negative 4. So if 0 is here, negative 4 here, that would be an open circle, and T is anything greater than would be shaded to the right on our number line. Okay, and so we can check to make sure that our answer is correct. Take something that's shaded in on our number line, like 0. Plug it in for T in our equation. 0 plus 3 is 3, and 3 is greater than negative 1. And that works. That's true. The hard drive on your computer has a capacity of 250 gigabytes. You used 115 gigabytes. You want to save some home videos to your hard drive. What are the possible sizes of the home video collection you can save? So if the capacity is 250 and you've used up 115 of those gigabytes, you have 135 left. That means when it asks us what are the possible sizes, it would be anything less than or equal to 135 gigabytes. Can you say, I can solve inequalities using addition and subtraction? Write a summary and reflection, and be prepared with any questions for the work time in class.